Welcome back to the Basement Brothers podcast. Once again, in our dungeon domain, it's me, JD, and my favorite co host, Mr. Mo Money.
Yes, indeed. I believe at this point I'm your only co-host, but I'll take that.
Correct. And that's how it should be.
Yes,
Only,
indeed.
but see, I wanted to make sure that it was known you're my favorite, even though you're my only co host.
Oh, see, I
Uh,
could take that. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
how you
Yes,
doing over there, Mo Money? How's the week treating you?
you know what? I'm here, man. I'm here. The winter isn't as bad as we thought it was going to be, so I can't complain. I'm here, brother. Happy to
I
be in the
agree with you.
basement with
And anytime we can take a little break from winter, I'm more than happy to oblige.
you. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Our first hot topic is going to be something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is wrestling. I am a huge wrestling fan. So if you haven't realized that by now, you will get the hint pretty quickly. And what's going on in the world of WWE right now is WrestleMania 40. Is about to hit Philadelphia, and leading up to WrestleMania, there's always these great storylines that they drive that's going to get ticket sales and viewership and all that sort of stuff up. And what's going on right now is the Bloodline. The Bloodline has been a major storyline for them for a couple of years now. Bloodline, that group is led by Roman Reigns, who is the Universal Champion. He's been reigning as champion, I want to say, for 1,231 or 32 days, which is unheard of in the modern era of wrestling. Um, and he's of Samoan descent. He's alongside his cousins, and he's got the great Paul Heyman as his wise man. Um, and what's happened recently, kind of new to the fold, is The Rock. And if you're a wrestling fan, you definitely know who The Rock is. And I'm a huge Rock fan, but I got to tell you something. Leading into WrestleMania 40, there was a push to make the Rock Roman Reigns big fight a reality, and that would have supplanted Cody Rhodes, who's also in the middle of his storyline trying to capture the Universal title, the WWE title, which his father was unable to capture and hold. So. Basically, The Rock comes in now having some ownership to the WWE, and basically he's trying to supplant Cody and be the main eventer with Roman Reigns. Well, the fans smelled what The Rock was cooking, and they didn't like it. And they basically came out, started booing The Rock and writing and protesting to the point where they had to put the fight back on with Roman and Cody. And The Rock is still trying to find a way into WrestleMania, and I think it's. I don't know about that move. What do you think, JD? I don't know if you've been following this.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't watch as much wrestling of the new product as I used, compared to the old product. I'm a huge rock fan from the old day, and the funny part is as the years have gone by, I've become less and less of a rock fan. The problem I have with the Rock is it's like I used to feel he was a genuine person, and now I feel like he's just this like amalgamation of like Hollywood A-list like personality types.
Mhm.
So I've kind of lost some of the um sellability of the Rock as a character to an extent. Like, and I know the story arc with him coming back. There was some stuff that kind of happened, and I thought some of it had to do with CM Punk, and they kind of had to muddle up the actual who was facing off at each other, from what I can remember, or what I was listening to.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't. It's one of those things where I think The Rock can do a good heel turn, and maybe it's kind of worked to his advantage because people he started to get kind of some hate online recently with people. So I don't know if this heel turn may kind of help things because The Rock for a long time really was a heel anyway, like Nation of Domination. He was a heel character, but he became basically a baby face.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's interesting to see what will happen with all this, and like you said with the boos, I did see those clips where he was getting booed. May work into better to kind of representing him instead of this like ultra baby face who can't be broken. I think it's a good turn for him to become like a really good heel.
Yeah, I I just feel like it's counterproductive because The Rock is known as the people's champ. Fighting for the little guy, and in this instance, he's no longer the little guy. He's basically corporate Rock because he's part owner of the WWE, and now he's got this power to just step in and insert himself into a storyline that's already doing fine without him. And I just wonder if this is going to impact his legacy. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Either way, I think WrestleMania 40 is going to be a huge hit. I will be watching and hope that you all check it out as well.
Yeah, very cool. I don't know that I'll be getting it on pay per view or anything. I don't know if it's televised. Are they televising it again on the streaming platforms? Do you know?
Yeah, most if not everything that they broadcast now, outside of like the regular weekly shows, is going to be on Peacock. So,
Okay, okay.
yeah, so it should be on Peacock.
So yeah, I'll probably tune in a little bit. I've been getting into wrestling a little bit more again. There's a problem that I've had with the new product, and I just never got over it. And I need to, but I'm still watching. I'm still watching Nitro from. I'm still on like episode 60 or something of Nitro.
No, that was good stuff back then. So you're hitting the right stuff. So, speaking of, I don't know if we would call this entertainment, but like speaking of basically putting on productions, I tend to view modern modern religion as more entertainment and distraction than anything else. And I know you've got a very interesting topic, which basically speaks to one of the more prominent modern preachers that are out there. And could you share that with us?
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a story that happened. It's been a couple of weeks now, but it kind of goes to tie in with everything that we've seen happening in modern society with just the mental health epidemic we're facing. And this was an interesting one because yeah, I myself don't really prescribe to much of the religious overtones anymore because to your point, I see a lot of it as just charlatanism. There's a lot of phonies that are, sitting in these mega churches with billions of dollars, and they're not practicing what they preach at all, right?
Mhm.
There's a clip here of this press conference, and basically what happened was is this person was in there. I was kind of following the story, and I wasn't even aware if it was a man or a woman, which was interesting until you pointed out actually that it was a female that was involved in the shooting. Um, I don't know if it had something to do with there was a bad custody situation or something, but anyway, this person ended up basically going to this church and opening fire, and it was just terrible. Let's watch a few seconds of this clip here.
A female, approximately 30, 35 years old, entered the property on the west side here in the parking lot of Lakewood Church. She entered the building. She was armed with a long rifle and a trench coat with a backpack, accompanied by a small child, approximately 4 to 5 years old. Once she entered, at some point she began to fire. I want to compliment the off-duty officers who were working extra employment here. One TABC agent, 4 years of service, 38 years old. An HPD off-duty officer, 28 years old, 2 years of service. Both officers, the officer and agent, engaged, striking the female. She's deceased here on the scene. Unfortunately, a 5-year-old kid was hit and is in critical condition at our local hospital. That was a 57-year-old man who didn't have anything to do with it, I don't think, was shot in the leg. He's seeking treatment in the hospital. So let's all pray for each and every one of them. Once she went down, officers reported back to us that she threatened, that she had a bomb. So we searched her vehicle, our bomb squad, and also the backpack. No explosives were found, but she was also spraying some type of substance on the ground. So HFD came and the fire chief would speak briefly on that.
Wow. Yeah. So, we're talking about clearly a deranged person. Basically enters this church. Somehow was able to purchase a gun, which is even crazier. Basically, go in here and just open fire. I don't even know if this person was a member of the church or if she just picked this as a target for whatever reason she was sending a message.
Yeah, I don't know a whole heck of a lot about this particular case. I would say that we're just at this point now where just mass shootings or random shootings are just it's like an everyday thing. Like there are just people who are willing to go into a space and just kill random people. It doesn't even matter whether she was a congregant or just someone who had a gripe, or maybe she didn't like the show. Like I mentioned initially, I do feel that a lot of modern religion is tied to you know an aspect of entertainment, and definitely is heavily tied towards money. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would never
definitely.
for one second say that someone deserves this to happen to them, because there are a lot of people who go to church because it's a sanctuary and it's a space that they can go to and look for healing, and instead they're met with violence, and I just think it's crazy.
Well, and that's yeah, perfectly said because a lot of people that are at the church don't really have anything to do with the church. They're there for their own purposes. They're there celebrating or doing whatever they want in terms of worship of their religious beliefs. I guess we could put it that way. And so they're just bystanders in all this. Like they're the churches themselves. A lot of them, they prey on people, so to speak. Like there's a reason why these guys have $1 million homes and $1,000 suits. It's not because they're doing this stuff for free.
Yeah.
So but yeah, unfortunately, I'm sure this person just realized there was a place with a lot of people gathered, and it was easy place to go in and execute her plan, which to me doesn't seem like much of a plan. I don't know what there was to gain by this.
Yeah, I look at it as being like police assisted suicide, because a lot of these people are disturbed and really looking for a way out. But rather than just quietly going off somewhere in the woods and ending it, they would, come into a space and create chaos and really destroy the lives of a lot of innocent people. My wife's grandmother, God rest her dead, had this saying that, church is like a hospital. If you go to a hospital, hospital is filled with sick people who are seeking to be healed. And in a lot of ways, church is like that. You have a lot of people that are coming in and they have, demons that they're trying to suppress, or, trauma that they're trying to get over. And the church is, again, a place for healing, and it's a sanctuary. And it's just sad to see that this is where we are in this day and age.
Yeah, mental health obviously the biggest component of this whole thing. People are becoming unhinged. There's a lot of disconnection in terms of social media. And reading in the story, they were basically talking about how there was some sort of custody battle going on between this person and her ex, and there was some belief that she had made a lot of anti-Semitic remarks in terms of kind of on her Facebook or her social media, and people had been pointing that out. What's even stranger is what from what I know about Joel Osteen is he's not they're not involved in the Jewish church. I believe it's just a Christian offshoot church of some sort. So it's even stranger that these people are essentially getting brought into the middle of this person's bias against another religious belief. But it just goes to show you where people are in terms of mental health today.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of become par for the course. Hopefully there's some path out of this sort of point in our history. And I don't know how, because guns are everywhere, sick people are everywhere. As you look around the world, there are countries with just as much mental illness and things of that such. But I think the thing that separates us from a lot of those countries is the fact that one, we have a lot of freedoms here, including the right to bear arms, as
Yeah.
many guns as you want, and nearly as much ammo as you can afford to buy. Um, and it doesn't seem much to be much of an appetite to curb that. Um, and I don't know. Maybe our freedom is causing us to destroy ourselves. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess time will tell. I hope we're turning a corner at some point and people start to kind of relegate themselves back to a classical era of just being a little bit more reasonable and being a little bit more connected. I know we talked about this before. Some of this mental health issues that we're facing is because people are so disconnected with the social media world. They don't really have anybody in their life, and that's sad because they could be surrounded by people and be completely alone, and that just completely alienates them and pushes this mental health issue even further to the forefront.
I agree, brother. I agree.
All
Well,
right. Well,
I guess we
continue on here with our next segment. We've got a interesting little clip to share here, and this is, talking about mental health, talking about all these things, is the gym craze that everybody seems to be following. Uh, Everybody seems to be working out, and as you can see, not everybody is working out. Well, this will speak for itself.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yourself before all this happened.
Oh
Make
my
a video of you.
God.
and obviously they bridge in the nice clip of the woman who, was a smoker for many years, and she had to get basically her voice box removed. But how that guy
Yourself
survived this,
before
I'll
all
never
this
know.
happened.
Yeah, like it it literally could have impaled him. Luckily it was his chest more so than his actual throat because he could have
Oh
had his
man,
windpipe crushed.
if it wouldn't have hit those bones there in the center plate of his chest, yeah, to your point, if that would have been in the throat or a soft tissue,
Mhm.
that post would have went right through
Well, I tell you what, I'm a fairly buff guy, at least in my avatar.
it.
I won't tell you what I look like in real life, but I could imagine being in the gym, setting up your camera. You're so excited, you're gonna share with the world how you work in these muscle groups, and then this happens. Like, how do how do you move on from this? Do you even bother sharing this video? And how did this video get circulated?
That's the funny thing because obviously this is a video this guy must have had it. I don't know if he's in a gym or if he's just in a the equipment more looks like a home piece of gear than it does really a gym
Yeah.
piece or a professional piece of gear. So it's hard to know if he's just filming it at his home or wherever. But obviously, he's the one that must have released it, which is even
Uh,
worse. Like, but I mean, I guess one of two things. It's very educational to point out that I guess you should be careful when you're doing this stuff because you literally could get killed trying to lift some weights.
it kind of goes back to what we've been talking about, social media, seeking attention and affirmation. And like, I don't know. To me, it looks kind of rickety to begin with. Doesn't look like a really heavy duty piece of equipment. And there's nothing stopping that pole. There's no connector. Like theoretically,
Yeah,
there would have been some sort of connector, some sort of attachment for the post. There's no connector at all. So, you know, he's focused on making a video and he could have severely injured himself. So,
yeah. I tell you what, it's you see videos every day too of somebody trying to lift way too heavy and then they drop the weight and basically are like they have a camera by themselves in the gym and they know and then sometimes somebody will even like passing by will catch it and run inside and save them. But it's extremely dangerous for some of these people to do this stuff. And obviously he was able to climb on this thing and not really even look down that there's a pole like pointing right up in, it could have hit him in the jaw, it could have hit anywhere.
yeah.
Apparently he didn't seem to care.
Yeah, he could have lost an eye. I would say this though. The accident happened, but my God, why share the video? I would have burned the entire phone or the cloud to make sure that this video didn't get released and saw the light of day. So God bless him.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, it's a bizarre world out there with the social media being built up where everybody wants to be a celebrity. It's just they're doing this. Even the dumb things they're sharing and showing just to get more popular.
Well, speaking of wanting celebrity and attention, the next clip that we're going to show is on what I would call a controversial new sport called, I guess, slap fighting or power slap is the league, I guess. But let's check this out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, oh,
Christ!
my.
With the hair
I
shake
did not
after that.
expect that.
Like,
Oh, oh,
Sits him down. He goes.
man.
Look at the wind up.
Oh.
Straight through him.
he's done.
Oh.
I don't know what's worse, the sound of the slap or the puff of smoke after the impact.
Mentally, emotionally, and physically.
The deformation of the face
Oh, he's out of it.
Andrew Fields,
just
one
crumpled.
strike.
Oh,
one
look at the
KO.
face.
So to speak, it can do a
Is
lot
that a
of great
tooth?
Is that a
things.
tooth
Gotta
or
take it seriously.
popcorn? What was that?
Something came out of his ear.
Terminated.
Oh, not even
Oh.
a
And
earplug.
Don.
It was an earplug.
Better. Look at that.
To make sure he
And on the
doesn't bust
flip
his
side,
first
Gaspar
surgery.
Diaz taking a nap.
So
What a
brutal.
shot.
New power slap welterweight
So we get the
champion of
belt
the
and
world.
everything, huh?
That's so brutal. Oh.
Oh,
Ear, you got the ear too. Look at that.
Thomas.
Oh my God. All right. Power slap it is.
Wow.
You know, you and I have watched videos in the past of something that was similar, and it's probably the origins of Power Slap, where there's a country, I don't know if it's in Europe, maybe it's Russia. In any event, they'd have these competitions where like the tough guys are like slapping each other, but they're kind of moving around and they're hitting more so in the chest and the upper body and not necessarily in the head. And I can get down with that. I like the sweet sides. I like boxing. I like MMA. Of course, I like sports entertainment with wrestling. I'm not too sure about power slap, though. I see this as something that could be very dangerous because the person is kind of standing there stationary. They're going to take the full brunt of that slap, and I cannot see how a person walks away from that, maybe even one slap, and not have a concussion. What do you think?
There's a huge element, just like you mentioned, about all of these different types of fighting, boxing and MMA, about stances, footwork, movement that seems to result in a little bit of ability to deflect some of the blows, right? This is straight on like getting hit in the face with a boat oar. Like literally full bore, just and taking it from a stationary, somewhat rigid position, right?
Mhm.
Like they're not like there's something to be said about when you're moving and you get a punch fed to you, or you're feeding something, or there's some pushing, or it kind of lessens the impacts. It sometimes it works the opposite way where you're going into the impact, so it can be bad. But there's something about just standing stationary and getting hit as hard as possible that I think is going to result in a super dangerous situation for advanced like CTE, other things that are going to happen that we haven't really studied. You know.
Yeah, there was one slap fight where I think it went on for maybe about 31 minutes, and I'm sure you've seen the clips where the guy's face is basically it was deformed.
Oh,
Literally, it was
looked like a pumpkin.
swollen. Yeah, it was swollen, and literally the flesh was peeling off of his face. And I believe that's when you were talking about the opponent literally had to just stop. He didn't want to participate any longer because he felt like maybe the guy was going to die. That's how bad it was. So the guy who won ended up winning because the other guy quit. And then I think at the end he got like $5,000. So imagine a concussion that's going to impact you for the rest of your life for like $5,000.
Yeah, we just that we don't know the devastating effects of this. There hasn't been this is so new. It's kind of started on social media within Russia and some of these other countries a few years back, but they already know the effects of fighting and what it does to the brain and the body. I think this is even in some cases more devastating.
Yeah,
I guess time will tell.
yeah, I would agree because at least in boxing, you can roll with the punch. There's different ways you can position your body so that, yes, you're getting hit, but you're not taking the full brunt of the blow. I don't see how this remains a sanctioned sport. I think, sadly, it's going to take the death or severe injury of someone before this sort of thing is stopped. So,
Yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be where we're headed, and with people's being starved for entertainment, it seems to be par for the course.
gotcha. Speaking of entertainment, segueing into our next segment, which we like to call Free for All.
So I want to talk a little bit about CGI in films. We'll use one of your favorites, The Rock, for a moment to kind of illustrate this. This was an old, old segment clip from one of the first times where I really thought CGI was used in poor taste, and it was in the one of the Mummy series movies, right, where
Right.
The Rock had played the Scorpion King, I believe, right.
Yep.
It was the first time I saw where they took a face of a guy that was as well known as The Rock at the time and kind of morphed it into this weird character that looked nothing like The Rock with, like just a bizarre animation that didn't really fit. And it kind of pointed to me the fact that movies are great and the CGI makes the movie great, but the CGI can also make a movie bad.
I agree 100%. I remember being so excited to see the Scorpion King. I'm like, okay, The Rock, The Rock's going to be in the film and he's going to crush it. And I saw this. I'm like, what is this? What is this horrible animation of Rock? And it was like, literally, that's not The Rock at all. I don't even think he had a speaking role. I don't think he spoke. He just kind of grunted and made noises. So I'm like, this isn't The Rock. Um, on the flip side, I do see the necessity of CGI. I'm a huge sci-fi fan, Star Wars, and I remember the old films had the stop motion, and they would make the entire set, and it was very realistic, but it's very time consuming. I don't believe we'll ever go back to those days. Um, so I don't mind CGI. I just don't like bad CGI, and that's bad CGI.
I agree. I'm at the same point where it's like, I just don't like animated films that where the CGI becomes the animated part, right? Like I don't mind animated films. I just don't like when the film basically is a live action movie that's now animated because it's all CGI. I think it can be overdone, and I think it takes away from the storytelling sometimes. And I think also if it's done badly, it actually can kind of ruin the film.
Yeah, I watched Tron, the newer Tron. I don't remember how long ago it came out. It's been out for some years. The one with Jeff Bridges, and they had to like de-age him in the beginning of the film, and then throughout the film when they're on the grid, there's this younger version of him, which I think is a Clue, or I can't remember the character's name, but in any event, it's a younger version of Jeff Bridges, and it looks so horrible. It's just so unbelievable. You have to like suspend reality and common sense, the ability to see, you know, you know,
Put a
to
bag
like
on your head while you're watching the film.
yeah, like you gotta watch it with your eyes closed to believe any of it. And it's like I really enjoyed the film, but like every time I saw those CGI scenes, it was like I cringed.
I agree. It can take the entire movie experience and ruin it, and it also disconnects you from the movie because there's a certain part where reality has to kind of be in place for for things to be believable, and when everything becomes animated to the point where there's nothing real about it, you just lose that kind of synergy and emotional connection to the film.
Yeah, I'll say one thing. It's come a long way. CGI has come a long way, and I can only imagine with AI how much better things are going to get. But it's a tough sell at times. But speaking of reality, um, we're going to get ready to close. But the reality is, as you get older, I won't age myself. I won't date myself. Well, wow, JD, wow.
We're gonna get a picture. We're gonna get a reference picture. I hope so.
Wow. Okay. All righty. Okay. In any event, that's
This is
not
not now.
me.
Now I must preface this. This is not Mo Money. This could be a
No,
picture of me. This could more be a
no,
picture of me. I have
no.
a hairline similar to this guy.
My goodness. In any event, as we get older, I don't know about you, JD, but I found that like 9 p.m. is like the new midnight for me. Like there is no thing other than like a five-alarm fire or some sort of medical emergency to me that justifies leaving my house after 9 p.m. I just couldn't imagine it. When I was younger, I didn't understand why older people wouldn't go out at certain times or wouldn't go out when it rained. Like there was nothing that stopped me from getting around. As I'm older, I'm not going out if it's late. I'm not going out if the roads are bad. Is it just me?
Well, there's two reasons for that. First of all, that's what between 8 and 10 p.m. is when all the programs are on TV that we have to watch. Far from that, also that starts to interact with our routine, right? Like at 8:30, I got to have my Ovaltine. The stove so I can start getting ready, winding down for bed. So yeah, there's, and then don't even start about the laundry list of medications you start to take as you age. You have to have, pull that 60 pill box out and start figuring out which ones you got to take before you hit the sack.
Yeah.
It takes up our whole evening.
And I gotta imagine it's gonna be kind of hard to get jiggy with your CPAP machine in the middle of the club. You know what I mean?
Let me put my oxygen mask on, baby.
Oh my God! Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And it's so weird. Like, if I'm home, I stay up late, but I have no desire to actually leave the house. Like,
Yeah,
there's nothing.
I agree. It's one of those things where as you get older and older, you long for the early. It's probably why they call everything an early bird special, right? Like the early bird specials used to be between 2 and 6 p.m.
Mhm.
It's because nobody wants to be out after 6 or 7, or especially not 9. I mean, 9 is, like you said, the new midnight.
Yeah, I'm not with it, brother. I'm not with it. Well, I hope we continue to grow older because we're not old. I don't want you all to be confused. We're not old, but we're growing older. We'll grow old more gracefully and just try not to be out past 9 p.m.
I agree. That's when all the dangerous stuff is out there anyway. So, get your banquet meal and get your TV tray and get it, make sure it's all set up by 8. That way you can get a good night's rest and no caffeine after about 6 p.m.
Yeah, or you could do what I do. I take maybe 20 minutes to find a wonderful show to promptly fall asleep on because as soon as it starts up, I fall asleep. So there you go.
Yeah. And with that, we'll leave you guys with our fantastic parting music.
All righty. Good working with you, JD. See you again soon, brother.
You too, Mo Money. Take care. And once again, Basement Brothers podcast, like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Yep, yep.